All right. Momentum hour off and rolling, baby. Let's go. This is one of my favorite parts of the week. Um, because momentum hour is just so powerful for our members and for entrepreneurs and business owners because we dive into the nitty-gritty around the real stuff that's happening and what's come to us as the leaders of Impact Effect Accelerator and what our members are talking about. So I just really enjoy this. I wanted to kick off this momentum hour this week by just saying I look forward to this because it's real problems and we have solutions, we have systems, but we're not perfect either. And it's just a fun conversation to dive back and forth because we learn so much as well. So
And that's the point. Like everybody learns from each other. It just in this world, we really should be. I truly feel like it's collaboration over competition. And I feel like if you're around people that you feel like you're constantly competing with, then maybe surround yourself with a different group of people.
Why do you think it's collaboration over competition? Like I hear that a ton. What's it mean to you specifically?
So for me, especially as a female business owner, there was this time where I thought like, there's not a seat at the table for me. There's not a seat at the table for me. And then for me, collaboration is fine. Then make a bigger fucking table, right? Like I don't need to kick somebody out of a seat to make space for myself. There's ample space, ample clients, ample money, ample opportunity for all of us. And we can work together. I was just talking to a guy the other day who does what I do, right? And I was like, well, why don't we just get together and collaborate? Because there's going to be times I can't do a project and vice versa, or you'll need consultation or help or media training, whatever it is. And he was like, perfect, amazing. Like didn't feel that energy because when you're talking to somebody in that space where you're like their energy changes, they tighten up a little bit because they're like share clients, oh my god. And it's like, dude, if I can't help somebody, I'm more than happy to suggest that you help them and vice versa. And so that's what collaboration means to me. Like we make a bigger table, we don't kick somebody out of a seat to make space for me.
I love it. No, it's the reason why I ask is because that word collaboration, that word abundance, right? We hear it sometimes. And then people have different perspectives on it. I love your explanation around it because you're right. Like, let's pass some business. A couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, I saw a post about speakers at an event. And I tagged a bunch of speakers that have spoken on the Impact Effect stage and referred them. I didn't say, hey, here's Jim's hand. I speak, hire me. Right. And I just want to build relationships and networks around that. And I continue to do so because I focus on it. And Impact Effect is one of those, right? I just talked about some of our speakers, some of our members. I'm pumped. We've got one of our members speaking this week and doing a subject matter expert series. So like this stuff is just cool when you have the right people in the right seats. And I think that's such something of beauty inside Impact Effect Accelerator, right?
Well, and I also feel like when we created Impact Effect Accelerator, the whole goal was like, if we rise together, like we all can rise together, right? We're not like leading the horse to water to be like, here, we can help you. If you choose not to like join, that's totally fine. Keep doing what you're doing if that's working for you. But if it's not, there's no harm in giving it a try and seeing the way that we create training specifically for you. Because this, everyone says like niche down, niche down, niche down. And so even though you're talking to like this one niche down person, you're still talking to all these other people. So even though we're creating a training for this one member, we still have tons of other members that also probably need that training, right? And so it's like that, it's that mind where we literally all can learn from each other in different ways. And it's not just us being like, here, do this, you're on your own. And like, maybe we'll do a mastermind in a month, right? Like, it's just, I need help daily. I need help all the time. And so it's great to be able to go into the community and just be like, hey, Jim, can you help me with this? Or, hey, Melissa, I have a question about this, right? Like, and get an answer, usually, within 24 hours. Whereas other stuff, it's like, maybe I'll do a social media video for you and tag you in it. Like, no.
Well, I think that's, you get the system, you get Go High Level, you get the opportunity to leverage the system. We walk you through it. It's not just go take a course, or there's no opportunity to ask questions, or there's no back and forth or ideas like, hey, let's talk about this and build this or do that. I think that's such a beautiful thing, right? Because we talk about systems. I mean, it's summertime coming up, right? Like it's here, it's warm, it's kids are running around, activities, you're going to more concerts, you're vacationing, you're traveling, you're seeing family. Like we need systems more than anything, right? So how can we give you a marketing system? I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, yeah, we're sending out all the emails and doing all this. I'm like, is it automated? They're like, well, we scheduled an email. I'm like, you're missing so much opportunity to automate it and use information inside, go high level to then leverage that opportunity at the highest point, right? Like, how can I take information because it's in a system of what you've done, who you are, where you're at in your journey, your business, and then leverage those specific things into an automation that writes a nice, beautiful email for you. So I think there's just so many different ways to use it. And that's what I'm excited about as we wrapped up the training this past week. And we had some questions around how to get those interactions in there and how to label them and tag them and set them up. And I think that's just the beauty, because you can go to a training, you can go to watch a video, but where's that interaction happen? And I think that's where we see the most momentum of, well, this made sense, but this didn't, or how did this happen? And when I look online and I get all these ads and, all these things served to me, obviously, because I like self-development, I'm always growing, I'm always learning, lifelong learner. I see these communities. So I start to join them and I start to look at them and I start to look at these education platforms, and um, it's just video after video after video, right? And I think that's great, but how can you have the opportunity to have an impact on your own outcome, right? Ask questions, clarify, validate, get more examples, something that's more related to your industry. Hey, can you use my industry or my product or my company? Or how would you write this? Or how would you market this, right? Like to have that back and forth, that pitch and catch, that's a mastermind to me, right? And then to do that inside a community with others, that's the benefit. And I see $9 online or free community or free this, and just a bunch of courses that I have to decipher and figure out, what do I watch? When do I watch it? How much time do I commit to it? It's always a question to me. I don't know.
Well, and that's the
Rather than
other thing
someone
is
calling
like,
me, be like, yo, take this and we're
right.
going to build this for you. And we're going to do
R-
this. And
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, we help you take what the action is, right? We tell you what the next step is. So when you are onboarded by both of us, we figure out where the gaps are in the business, in the system, with employees, whatever it is, and then we sort of help you with those next action steps. Instead of you having to even figure this out by yourself. And I feel like in this space where I feel like there's so much burnout right now. I feel like everyone's just trying to do it themselves because they don't see the value in taking the time to take a step back and create a system, grow their team. It's just going to lead to more burnout. It really does. And if the goal for all of us is to spend more time with our families this summer, like, then we're going to have to take a step back, learn a couple of systems to automate certain things so that we then do have the time. And I understand that drowning feeling. I understand that feeling of, like, even if when it's social media, when I take a step away from social media to batch create and like get my stuff in order with my VA, like, it's scary where it's like, oh wait, I have to stop doing something to learn how to automate it. Sometimes yes. But like months down the road, when, like, right now, I don't even know what I'm posting because it's all are automatically scheduled, right? Like, I'll add a couple of things here and there, but like, how beautiful is it? I don't have to think about the daily marketing, the daily conversions, the daily lead generation, because it's automated. So
systems.
And I think I was such like a not anti-systems person. I think I was always the person that was just scared to take that time to learn the thing. But then you're stuck, right? Then like you have to do it like every time. It is not fun. I remember sitting there, like I didn't have a third party yet and I didn't have a VA or social media manager yet. And it was like, I was scheduling it on all the platforms. So I would take that same video and then copy and paste the post. And then it was on TikTok and then YouTube Shorts and then Instagram. I was like, what am I doing? Meanwhile, there's a third party platform. I could schedule out my whole month on every single one of those and just press post, post, post. And it just does it. It's so fascinating now because I'm like, why? What took me so long? What was I waiting for? Like, what the heck? What happened? So, I'm happy now that I've created some sort of a system. I'm happy now that like the VA and social media manager, where she's getting my tone, like we're getting there. But it just makes me look back like, God, I could have probably saved so much time and been so much more present as a parent and a wife had I started sooner. So
that's been a topic that's come up a few times around, you know, summertime coming up, more activities, vacations, things that we mentioned earlier. How do you spend time with the family with all the craziness? And I think for me, it's one of those. It's hard, right? Like let's just face it, it's hard, especially with two little kids and a couple product launches coming out, working on some projects and some other things. Like it's the revenue producing activities. I think those are the hardest because they do take up those big chunks of time, right? You have to have a conversation with someone for them to purchase something. It could be multiple meetings, things like that. Um, Especially in today's economy, I think the sales cycle, the sales process is longer than it was, or than what I've experienced in a lot of conversations with some members, some non-members, some peers, mentors, leaders. So I think those systems are just highly important because we still have to do the revenue producing activities, but if we can build the systems to generate the leads or build the systems to qualify the leads, and that's what we just went over in our series inside Impact Effect Accelerator, then if we do those things, then we can mitigate that consistent level of 4 or 5 hours of prospecting or calls or lead gen follow up or Zoom meetings. And how do we actually get it to the point where they're qualified and we're still doing it because it's a revenue producing activity. We have to do it, but to get it to that point where we're doing it less, but more effective, more efficient. And I think that's such a system that every business needs to look at. Doesn't matter the industry. It doesn't matter if you're making 100 million or 100,000 in your business. That system always needs to be at the forefront, especially if you're traveling a lot or you're taking time off or it's summer and you have a family and kids and you want to do some of those things that you had on the calendar or you wished and wanted throughout life, right? That's why we build the businesses, not the businesses build us. So I think it's perfect timing to have this conversation.
1,000%. Well, I also think it's the time where it's for the time when people realize like, oh my God, like I'm stuck in the muck. I didn't create anything to set me up for success over the summer. I can't take any time off. How am I going to do this? And like, I want people to understand, like you get us, right? Like we're both consultants. We both can figure out the gaps in your business and we both can help you sort of figure out what is the next step that you need to focus on and take. Because right now, you know, if you're in the muck, everything is just spinning, right? You're like, I got to do all the things. And it's like, you can't do all the things. And you know, you can't do all the things. So if anything, like you're incredible at like, okay, what's the goal? And then let's figure out what are the steps to get to that goal. And you're also great at saying no, right? Where it's like my ADHD brain's like, I want to do all the things. And you're like, nope, we need to focus on this. Like, let's start with this. And I don't feel like other communities, other systems have two people like us to help you individually in your business succeed, right? Most of them deal with the group mind, that group mentality, the group as a whole. But when you have the two of us, we give you a plan and then we create trainings around whatever you need the next step to be. I don't know. I just feel like if I had us back in the day, I'd be so much further along in all the things.
When you,
Yeah.
so let's go back in the day when you were building your business earlier on, and I know yours is growing rapidly right now. So kudos to you and juggling all the things and hiring the people and doing the consultant work and the one-on-one stuff and all that. Um, outside of Impact Effect Accelerator, right? So, Rachel runs a successful company, well, two, right? Or how many companies nowadays?
Impact
Three?
is my third.
Yeah. Um, and running those businesses successfully, growing this new venture that we started a few months ago, to help entrepreneurs and business owners. You have all those things that you've built, and you've acquired all this knowledge along the way. When you were back early on building those systems, like after you built one system or two, or did you feel like that breath of fresh air, almost like that, like regain in energy after that? Or did you have any experiences around that you could share?
I did after. I want to go to the before. The before, I was living in no but, right? Like, no, but I can't do this, right? Or no, but I can't take time. Or no, but I can't afford this. Or no, but I can't. And it wasn't until I started flipping my mindset around to like, yes, and I can, right? So, like, yes, there's only so much time in the day, and I will figure out what the next step is. Yes, hiring a VA and a social media manager will cost me money, and I will figure out a way for more lead gen and sales to cover that cost, right? So when you're living in that no but muck, I know what that's like. It's super hard to see what even the next step is, because you're just like, no but, no but, no but. You're like, you're just dealing with your everyday. When you can start to flip it a little bit, yes, and right, I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to create the calendar. I'm still going to like create my Go High Level landing page. I'm still going to write the course. I'm still going to write the book, right? It starts to shift the energy around what you're doing. And so again, was it scary to like stop down and stop taking clients for a week and stop doing any consulting because I had to create a system to go forward? Yes, it's scary. But that after of when I could double my income, double my lead gen, right? Double my sales closings is so much more worth it, because you're not in that muck anymore. And then once you build on the solid foundation, which Jim actually helps with, I'm going back to watch one of your trainings too this week, because I'm like, I have to go back and do this again. But like, once you have that solid foundation, then you can build on top of it. But if you're in that muck and you're just like, I'm just trying to stay alive, and you can feel that just like you're sinking, you have to throw yourself like what is it? Not the oar, whatever it is. What saves you when you're in a boat and you're drowning?
The life vest?
The life vest. Or the life preserver. Like, you have to throw yourself the life preserver. No one else is going to come. I mean, although we are with Impact Effect Accelerator saying we can help you, but you have to still make that choice. There's action in everything. And I think once I also realized that, just not even as a business owner, as a human being, no one's coming to save us, and no one's going to do it for you. So we lost your camera, but can you still hear me, or can we still hear you? Okay.
I'm just charging my I have two chargers. One works and one doesn't. Apparently I had the one plugged in that wasn't charging the whole time. So
we can still hear your voice. Like, God.
Be right back.
Okay, fine. But basically, like, my whole thing was, I think my ADHD brain wanted to like get the free PDF, get the free course, get the free whatever it is, thinking that it was going to be the answer and do the thing for me. Nobody's going to do the work for you. Nobody's going to do the thing for you. You literally have to show up for yourself. And it all stems from like literally step one of self-love. can I mute your mic for a second?
Go ahead.
While you're doing it? It's okay. Just tell me when you're ready. It stems from self-love, because you have to start putting yourself first as a human being, a parent, a friend, a child, whatever it is. And then when you start to have everything come from that space, then you can start making better decisions. And then you can start making decisions that allow you to take aligned action. I've shown you guys before, they're buried now because why would I actually be organized? I have 2 3-inch binders full of free PDFs that I've never filled out. But I'm definitely part of a lot of people's funnels that also I never followed through on, because this concept of taking action was so foreign to me because I just wanted the easy out. I wanted the easy answer. And there is no such thing. There is no easy answer. So even if you join Impact Effect Accelerator, like, we're going to give you things to do. There's tasks to do, but we also help you through that and figure out what the goals are. I had somebody the other day where I was just like, tell me your why, and they couldn't. And I think that's a huge thing for all of us, is when you're in that muck, start remembering what that why is. And then you can start to go from no but to yes and. Yes and is so powerful. We use it in improv. They'll tell you not to say no but. They'll say yes and, because you don't want to ruin a concept or a topic, or you don't want to ruin the flow or the momentum. So when you start yes anding, things get a little bit easier. It really is just that energy shift of, I love myself enough to know I have to start hiring other team members to start outsourcing some work. I love myself enough to know that in order for me to show up as a wife and a parent right now this summer, to be able to be present with my kids and not literally having my head in my phone the whole time, I'm going to have to ... Y'all can fill in those blanks for yourself. For me, it's editing, which I think I've said this probably for the last 2 years. Editing. I love editing. I love to edit. And so, like, to outsource something I love to do is hard. But also, again, if I love myself enough, and I know this summer my goal is to be a little bit more present as a wife and a mom, I'm going to have to make different changes. I'm going to have to take action. I was just talking about taking action because, like, I think for the longest time, and you've seen the binders, but I think in my brain, joining things or getting coaches and doing all these things, I think sometimes we think like it's the easy answer, and it's not. Action, you taking action. There's always going to have to be you taking some sort of action, even when we hire somebody, even when we like scale our teams. I'm training somebody to help me because I'm going to go on a consulting gig for a little bit. So I won't be like in town here. I'll be in another state. But I have clients that are calling me for bookings. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to train out of my pocket. I paid her to come to 2 events with me to train, because you don't know what's in here. I can't, you know what I mean? I can only tell you so much, but the way my brain works with storytelling and editing and all this other stuff, and brand management, is not the same as everybody else. So like, was it a cost to me? Absolutely. There's feedback. I don't know if there's feedback on there, but was it a cost out of my pocket? Yes. But is it worth it to me to have, like, to be able to train somebody so that I can make sure I can trust them and give them a job to do that I'm not there like hovering over them to do? Also, yes. And the other thing, and I don't know if you talk to your clients about this ever, but the like, it's going to hurt before it gets better conversation, right? Like, there's a financial output of, I call it an investment, where you're investing in future revenue. And will it be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I don't know. Like, certain niches do better and faster than others. But like, nothing is fast, especially not anymore. Nothing is fast anymore.
Well, I think that's just the way of social media. Everybody thinks it's the world streamlined in every aspect. And especially when it comes to business, it's much more complex than that. Right. And I think that complexity is a good thing, because there'd be all these products with low standards and services that, and there are in some industries today, right? But they don't run the industry. They don't provide the level of impact that you probably want to make as a business owner. So I think the complexity is good. But I also think, around the momentum of your business and, hiring that team and investing in yourself and growing is, what leader do you want to be? And what information are you putting on your tool belt to use down the road for an unforeseeable future, right? Like, we have no idea what's going to happen, but I know that if I'm building relationships, if I'm around high-powered people, if I'm educating myself, if I've got value to bring in different ways, shapes, and forms, then I'm validating my future and my business, right? And maybe I pivot, maybe I start a new company, maybe I double down on a specific product and minimize my product line or my offers and maybe I go that route. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to take a few conversations, and that's the beauty of Momentum Hour and Impact Effect in general is let's have those conversations. Let's get some opinions and then ultimately put you in a position to gather the facts and to do what feels right to you. I think that's something where you don't get in a mastermind, right? Where you just jump into a group and you get a hot seat and you ask a question, you get some opinion, and then that's kind of it, and your hour's over, right? That's group coaching, that's mastermind, where we can do that, and we do that, but where does it go next? And how do you take that information and use it correctly, knowing that, hey, this sounded great and that worked for this person, but it couldn't work for you, and it might not work here, or it might work there. And did you think of this? And really outweigh those pros and cons for some of those big, massive decisions you have to make in your business. That is the most stressful thing I think a business owner or entrepreneur has to face is what's the right decision and what's the regret if I don't make it, or what's the consequence if it's the wrong decision, right? And like, how can you do that with a group of people and then also get time to do it one-on-one? That's what I believe is going to reduce a lot of the stress, the anxiety, and allow you to grow faster, right? This is Momentum Hour, but we're talking about Impact Effect Accelerator. We call it Accelerator for a reason. And we want that positive growth to move at a rate that's sustainable, but also works with where your heart and your dreams and your goals and your action is going to align with. Right? Rachel was talking about earlier, you got to take the action, you got to do the thing. You can't just talk about the thing or go and get the education and do nothing with it. So let's help you. Let's hold you accountable, right? I was talking to someone actually about an hour ago about writing the book and accountability and what the next steps look like and when's the deadline, and let's do this thing together, right? Let's pick the deadline to be the same day for both of us. Right? I'm writing a book, you're writing a book. Let's do it in alignment with each other to hold each other accountable. That's momentum to me. That's impact to me. That's acceleration, right? Because that person could say, well, you know what? And I think they were planning on doing it in a year or so. But it has to align with them and the action they can take. And we talk a ton about that, right? Like, what are you removing in the business? Before we add this, what are we removing? Well, this is working and this is working and this is working. Then let's not add this thing to just add it, right? If this isn't working and this is and this is and this is, let's take the thing that's not and try this and implement this, and let's talk through it and then make a decision, right? In a certain amount of time to ensure that there's not burn and there's not cost and it's not affecting others or team members, things like that. Those are large conversations that can be a decision that's in a small time frame, but can have a ton of negative impact, or it can have a ton of positive impact. Let's talk about those things. So,
well,
I
especially
remind everybody how important that is too, because I think a lot of people don't realize how much weight you carry on a decision like that, or the impact, positive or negative, that it can cause.
Well, one of the things that you taught me is like the auditing, right? When it's like, oh my God, how do I not have time at the end of the day? Like, how's it already the day over? Well, it's like audit what you did. Were you answering last minute emails that you shouldn't be because you blocked out time to do something else? Then don't answer those emails, right? Like, put the text on do not disturb. And I think a lot of us just navigate from this place of fear. But like, what if I miss something important? Okay, but then you're not going to be doing the thing that you said you promised yourself you would do today, because now you're answering emails and last minute stuff and text messages that weren't important. And so a lot of the things that you will learn with us and Inside Impact Effect Accelerator and with the other members is really, where is your time going? What are you focusing on? And like, what is the big goal? Again, when we have the goal, we can make choices towards that goal. But if you don't, you're sort of just saying yes to all these things that have nothing to do with moving the needle in the business and the dream and the goal. So there's action take, like you will have to take action no matter what, whether you're inside Impact Effect Accelerator, whether you're outside Impact Effect Accelerator. But wouldn't you rather have a team of people, a group of people, and you and I on your side to sort of help push you forward, as opposed to being outside of that space and just spinning your wheels over and over and over again because you don't know what to do next? I'd rather be inside Impact Effect Accelerator and have people sort of help me along the journey. We can't do this alone. We weren't meant to do this alone.
Someone asked me more recently, like, man, I don't have like $20,000 to spend. And I was like, yeah, I don't want you to spend $20,000 on this stuff. And they were like, what? So I don't want people to get the wrong perspective that this high touch, high level is at a high luxury price and you can't make that investment. This is very simple stuff, because there's so much work to be done in your business that we don't want you to solve one problem and spend all your money on that one problem. Like, we want to see you accelerate. We want to see you continue momentum, continue growth. So are we giving you a ton? Yes, we are. But that was our choice. That was producer Rachel and myself. That was our choice to do it and do it that way, because we know the stages of business. We've been in them. We've lived in it. We've had the resources and we haven't had the resources. I know what that emotion brings. I know what it can cause, right? And I think for me specifically, it caused a lot of drinking alcohol, caused a lot of masking emotions and failures, because I didn't have the resources and just wanted to push through and push and push and push and push, and you implode. And it might not be today. And in those situations, it wasn't never my wallet that was an issue, right? It was the health. It was the opportunities lost, the time that was misused, right? It was all those things. And I don't want to see anybody have to turn to those things. If anything, I would rather support you to not go that route and to come into Impact Effect Accelerator when you need to and when it's right, than to go do it alone, feel like you're never going to get help in your growing your business, and then resort to stupid decisions. Right? That's what's on my heart today. That's what's on, some of the conversations I've had more recently with some people thinking about joining, was, let's get the mind right and the body right. And then let's talk about accelerating your growth in Impact Effect. I think those things are important. And I think it's just it's really been on my heart for people to realize, like, we want to help you. And this is me looking you in the eyes saying that, and going above and beyond at every cost that I can, because you deserve it. And I know people's dreams die and people have regret later in life. And I've talked to a lot of folks that live that way. And I don't want people to live that way. And if you're a business owner and entrepreneur, I'm talking to you, because the waves happen. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how many partnerships you have or deals. Like, there's always those drop-offs of emotion where you feel alone, you feel that you don't have the resources and everything's crumbling on your shoulders. We're here to help you through those moments and reduce that stress and have your back at the end of the day. So I've been talking to a lot of folks that have been going through that, a lot lately. And I don't think I've ever said that in any of our conversations, Rachel, or on any content we created. But that's a big piece of this too, is making sure you get the support you need today, and then also being there to provide it inside Impact Effect Accelerator when you need it then, right? And there's levels and stages, but the beauty in Impact Effect Accelerator is that we get to build it with you, and we get to build it for you in real time to solve those problems.
Yes. So if you guys are tired of sort of living in that fear space, if you're tired of living in inaction, and you're sort of on the precipice and you're scared to jump because you don't think there's a net, like, let us be your net. We're more than happy to help you take that next step. I understand these big leaps can be scary, but if you stay living in fear, you're not going to move that needle forward. You're not going to get towards that goal, and the goalposts always move. So why not have two people on your side that can help you understand what the next play is, what the next move can be? What can they do? Can they just go to the website today, right? ImpactEffectAccelerator.com. If you guys are interested, go to the website. There's a form to fill out. And then Jim will schedule a call with the both of us. And then we just take those next steps. It's really easy. It's not scary. Like, I know some people are like, oh no, a phone call. like, like this is how we get to know you, is through a phone call. So, I would love to see you guys join today, especially if you're on, like, if you're just stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do next. We can help you.
Check out impacteffectaccelerator.com. Let
That's
us
it.
know if you have any questions. You can drop your info. You can tell us a little bit about your experiences, where you're at in your business, what's important to you. And if it makes sense to jump on a call, let's do it. You can also book a direct call with us if you just have questions and want to dive deeper right off the rip. So you can join, you can book a call. Our goal is to help you and meet you where you're at, and then build those specific trainings around what you need to solve the problems that are important today. Not hypothetical theory that you could use down the road. But we also have that too, because your problem might not be someone else's problem right now. So if you want to keep adding those tools, if you want to learn marketing deeper, sales deeper, if you want to work on your mindset deeper, if you want to take actionable steps to come closer to your dreams and to build out systems in your business and automate and use AI and all the things to accelerate your business, let us know. I want to jump on a call. I want to meet you. I want to hear about your product. I want to hear about your service. I want to hear about your challenges. I want to hear about your wins. Because at the end of the day, this is built with deep human connection. We want to get to know our members, and we want to be a part of their life and create positive impact. So I'm excited. Momentum Hour. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.